images and not text. So
the sorter isn't working, but I did.
There's a sorter?
It's the standard thing in like wiki tables where each heading you can click and it will auto sort via the heading. So for name it'll do alphabetical, but rarity doesn't work because it's an image.
Also, I don't know why in transient pages the rarity icon also appears on 3-star for some reason. I don't know why that does.
I will take a look at it, because even though Airta was the one who implemented rarity displaying on ARs properly now, it was me who implemented the images. Oops. Anyway, we're live now.
Oh, your fault! I can't believe it.
Yeah, well, it's not the first time I broke the wiki at a massively large scale.
I would say it's broken because I don't remember if we could sort it before by rarity anyway. I mean, not that that matters to me, because I usually just... Yeah,
Erica mentioned something about not being able to sort by rarity. I was like, I don't remember ever needing to sort by rarity anywhere, so... But, yeah, we're live now, so let's continue with our discussion that should have been finished off in a single discussion, to be honest, but... Oh well, it's too late now. Hello everyone, today we are going to be continuing off with our discussion for the Chapter 12 content that released halfway through Chapter 12, the ARs. We have 6 in total today. Joining me today is Salgus.
Hello, it's me.
And Irby.
Hello, it is also me.
Actually, I just realized I didn't bother doing a sound test for my own volume. Because I joined late, because I'm dumb. Give me a second. Testing. No, that's the wrong one. Very professional. Testing. Alright, that's still going. Maybe. Anyway, so we'll be starting off with, what's it called? We are starting off with the Tomte and Horkeu Kamui AR. Is that correct? That's very correct. I think I'm assuming AR. So this...
yes, that's correct.
Okay, so this AR is 3-star AR, and it's not very complex in function. It's just a card that helps you heal as well as give CP to units all around the unit who has equipped this card. It's a very small amount, but it is at a decently high rate, and again, they don't have to move. So you may want to consider equipping this on either on the class of units that already provide defense buffs as well as healing, and I would say that would then be best for just a regular Snow 5. That's like the most I can say about this, honestly. But
I think it's pretty neat for Fashionista Zabanya as well.
Do tell.
You too can also heal through blessing and his CS, and also he also can bestow CP when attacking and when moving.
Yeah, anyone with that triple trinity of HP, CP, and defense buffs works well. So Zabanya would be another case. And both of Horkeu Kamui's frame, not just as 4, but also as 5. So yeah, consider doing that. Anything you'd like to add to that, Salgus?
I just think this is mainly useful because it actually has a good base proc rate, so you can use it for stalling. And I did that once with other ARs, they give pathetically low amounts of CP and HP that I stalled forever just to heal and CP up. So I think the base rate is nice, at least. It's certainly no it's Zamna licked AR, which has what's the base rate on that?
It was like 60% at best, maybe like 30%.
I feel like it was worse than that.
It was 30% at base or something like that.
60% at best is what I said, not 30% at base is probably correct. It was truly abysmal. This AR is pretty good in terms of reliability, but it's still nothing to write home about unless you have multiple dupes. I mean, 50 HP per turn, that's like 500 HP over 10 turns, and that's still not enough to over 100 turns at 5,000 HP able to heal a unit fully. So yeah, it's a nice thing that adds on, but it's only kind of effective if you add it on top of existing healing, essentially. So those are my thoughts on this AR.
Also, since it's a 3-star, and if you constantly roll on the AR banner, you're probably going to have a lot of boosts in a year or two. To make it worth it, I guess.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so if that's everything with this AR, let's just move on. Not exactly the most exciting AR, but yeah. But by the way, the reason why we're doing this suddenly right now is just because like it was a spontaneous decision on my part after talking with Irby. he has a week off, so we're gonna celebrate by talking about ARs, I guess. All right. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
I will not disclose which day it was, though. Anyways, who's up next?
Me.
Okay,
I can talk about this wonderful file story. Alright, so this AR for Leib and Jambavan gives a nice guts after being hit, so no cheesing with it. Some units do have before being hit with guts, I believe, like Tezcatlipoca 5, but...
But after being hit is almost the same thing as before being hit, though. You can cheese with it.
Don't you need HP for that? Or
well, yes, you do need to have HP before being hit, but even if the attack kills you, you can still proc it.
Yeah, this will still even brings you to 0. Okay. It's the thing is the trigger and the application are like slightly different from each other. So it's like the trigger is when you're hit, right? But the application is after being hit. So yeah.
So you can still trigger this.
Yep.
Even if the attack is to kill you?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
this is
okay.
This is also what we determined from the Dagon and Tanjiro AR as well.
Okay, I didn't actually know that. Okay, then this is a bit better than I thought. Okay, so you can use it for cheesing. Unfortunately, the base rate is pretty low for something like that, at only 30%. Like, a lot of guts type skills kind of cap out at much higher than that. I mean, I guess this is an AR, so you're supposed to grind out for it, but I just don't think the base rate is good enough. It's certainly not something you rely on, but the other effect is also that it drains your HP by 300 per turn, which will add up pretty quickly, unless you're using someone to heal to try and negate that. As for units who I think is good on it, I didn't really give it too much thought because I thought you couldn't cheat with it, but I suppose it would work best on tanks or people who have the regen to try and offset the damage taken. Alternatively, you could take advantage of the HP depletion every turn and use it with someone who gives limit. I believe none of the wood and Aether units natively give limit.
I think Makan 5 has it.
Does he? I was looking over the list and I saw him and I wasn't sure. I thought it was just like guts.
I think it's only phase start limit.
Oh yeah. Is that the case? What the heck? Yeah, I remember that now. I remember it being really pointless because he also had a phase start heal ability, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. So you can drain some of that heal for Makan 5.
That's so stupid. Anti-sanity right there.
Oh, yeah, if you want to take advantage of the damage per turn, then yeah, pair with someone who can grant limit. There's plenty of units who do that. Lianan, Valentine's, Yumao. I'm sure there are more, but I can't believe. Horus. There you go. But yeah, I guess he could use it to try and cheese things with guts, but...
Actually, I think it's really good for Makan, now that I think about it, since he also does have guts on move and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, it is phase start limit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, if you subscribe to Turns Coming, which is not something that we will officially talk about here, but if you know what it is, then you know what it is. This is actually one of the best ARs for you, because unlike what's called in, if the skill was in your actual base kit, this one can't be denied by skill lock or double lock or anything like that. So it'll still go through even if your character, who is like a guts slut, can't actually trigger those abilities. And it'll be okay for Leib too if for some reason he was charmed, because that's his only way of actually activating guts, even though he's already immune to charm, to skill lock and double lock and stuff like that.
I think it's also pretty neat for Z's if you're trying to do survival quests as well. Since, Z's does have a really decent chance to proc guts whenever she's hit. So adding another... Yeah,
she's actually really tanky, even though she doesn't have any defense buffs, right? It's just healing, a lot of healing, and guts.
She has a lot of HP. It's not a lot of healing for herself. She heals a lot of people, but she does charge very fast as well, which helps her heal herself as well.
And give her that level 1 protection.
You'll have a 1 defense up, I think, something like that.
Yeah, something
It's
like that.
defense up, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I don't know my skills anymore. That's fine. That's just protection, anyways. Who uses protection? Anyway. Any other remaining thoughts on this, or should we move on?
None.
We can move on, I guess.
Alright.
We're getting no comments.
Well, I'm not surprised. That's just like ARs for discussion already.
Barely
No one
anyone
cares
does.
about this.
It's also on a unusual day, so...
Yeah, true. It's fine. It's fine. We want to get this out of the way anyways for a long time. Alright, so moving on to the next AR, covered by Irby, if you will.
Is it the Kengo Oniwaka one?
It's the Oniwaka one.
Wow, dude.
Look at it. They look exactly the same except for a slightly different skin tone.
I'll do a face swap later.
It's not even from Bomb this time though.
This is actually a worse case of like same face than bombs.
Okay, the Kengo Oniwaka AR, it has an interesting effects. Basically, on odd turns, it has an 80% chance to deplete 1k flat damage, and on even turns, it has a 50% chance to gain 100 HP. These are super low values, but the rates for the HP depletion aren't too bad, I guess. I think it is a pretty mediocre AR.
I mean, help for the job quest sometimes.
That is probably best used on units with large ranges and units meant to tank as well. Units with long slash magic, whatever the case it is. Just because the more units that it hits, the more it will take advantage of these effects. You'll deal more HP. You'll have a lot more chances to restore even more HP. So that's pretty decent. I think it's actually a pretty decent AR especially for Setsuban Oniwaka, because he kind of doesn't deal a lot of damage, but he does have long slash, and he also doesn't have a lot of means to heal himself. So this is pretty neat.
Yeah. I would also agree just bringing it on units that don't have self-healing, that should have self-healing, like healers themselves. Like Z's would actually be a good case of that. She heals like the units besides her, right? But I forget if she actually heals herself or not. So
she only heals herself on CS. So
yeah, so I feel like this would be good on her every second turn, anyways.
Yeah.
So yeah, that trope of healers who can't heal themselves is really stupid. We need more ARs that can band-aid that. Ryota received a bunch recently, but there's still a lot of other healers who can't heal themselves that could use some help. Go on. But besides that, the flat HP depletion, again, like as Irby said, would be good on when you're the person who's equipping this has large range. So magic range, stuff like that. Again, these would be going on that just by chance.
It's nice because it helps a level 80 Andvari kill Seth.
Yeah.
But only on odd turns.
Yeah, well, the first turn's the only one that matters most of the time. So when this kicks in, because thankfully the base rate of the flat damage is actually quite high.
And the flat damage itself is respectable too. It's actually higher than Spirit, isn't it?
Spirit's like, what, 800 or 500 or something?
It's 800.
Yeah, so... Yeah, I like how much damage it does with... Like, honestly, if it were just 1000 every turn, that would actually be really strong, but...
Yeah.
It would be stronger without the healing effect.
I would have recommended this for units to do coin dailies with, if it was every turn, but unfortunately it isn't. It would be really nice for Kyuma, at least.
Yeah.
If it was every turn.
But he's already strong enough for him to one-shot everything with Aether Lucky Cat behind him now.
But you need to have Aether Lucky Cat behind him.
But he can equip the Wise Man AR. I've actually tested this. The setup I have now ensures that he can always delete his column even if it's water units, as long as you have a maxed out thingamabob.
Yeah, just because it's, like, again, odd turns and even turns, you can't rely on it always, so I feel like this AR would be better on stages where, you know, it doesn't matter if you have as much control over the turns. In that case, I mean turns, phases that have a large number of turns. So yeah, better for the tankier kind of setup, I guess. And there's also a kind of enemy paradigm that LifeWonders doesn't use often, but they do use occasionally, of units with a have permanent evasion but have low HP. So this would be an AR that would be good against that. Actually, I'm pretty sure that's the reason why they released Spirit in the first place, for that exact kind of paradigm. But then Water Kotar exists, so like, who cares? But yeah, if you need more specific aiming, yeah, this would be a good AR to handle those kinds of enemies. Is that it from everyone?
Yeah.
I think Orgus is actually really neat with us as well, but yeah, that kind of falls under the sort of tanky units that have at least 5 squares of range to take advantage of everything. So it doesn't make.
I mean, as long as you don't move him, I guess.
Yeah, but you can't control when he does restore HP or not. I mean, since you can move him whenever you want, you have a lot of control over when you want to take advantage of the HP gains or the flat damage, depending on which one you need.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, let's not drag this on any longer. Irby, you're one very lucky guy. You have the first comments of the batch. Please read them out, and then we can go on.
Kengo looking really great on that red fundoshi. Kengo.
That's Oniwaka.
You sure?
I think that is the joke.
I mean, I wasn't sure if it was a joke or a genuine mistake.
Definitely a joke.
Kengo, Yuma met the ticking route. Imagine not having shooting stars AR.
And you can't relate because you can just buy it at anniversary.
Yes, just buy it.
For the few people seeing this, make sure you have shooting stars from anniversary. There you go.
Just get shooting stars in Liana, and they're done.
Well, 5-star anniversary is coming up. I mean, the 5th anniversary is coming up, so hopefully they'll be cheeky and give us 5-star tickets. But that's just wishful thinking. Anyway, let's move on and not talk about.
They give us a 5-star ticket, but it can be exchanged for 5 4-star tickets instead.
Honestly, it would probably be better. Which 5-star would you even get?
I was about to say Christmas reorder, but then I remembered he's limited, so.
I might get Jacob 5.
Fushi's pretty cool, I guess. But I don't know. It's nice to have the option. I already have Christmas reorder, so I don't really care anymore about higher rare units. I have every. Cool. Yeah.
Who is pretty cool?
I already have 5-star Ryota is Christmas Ryota is what I was saying.
Oh,
so that was pretty cool. I don't really need any other units since I have pretty much all the. Oh wait, never mind. I want Nightpost Kurugani. God damn it. If only. Anyway, he's limited too. I'm gonna go move on to the next unit if it's all the same as you. All right.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So the next AR is the Hombre Tigre Tezcatlipoca AR. And it has a very narrow usage of a self-applying taunt when the unit who has this card equipped is hit, as well as giving advantage against taunt. So the reason why it's quite narrow is because taunt works as an ability for tanks or some sort of class like that, but it's generally not an ability that you inflict on the enemy. There's only one exception of this in the entire game, and that would be Tezcatlipoca's Festival variant. So yes, he would equip this on his Festive variant. The reason why he has taunt inflicted on the enemy is just because he has advantage against taunt. So in a sense, it's taunting the player to remain in place. But by equipping this on a Festival Tezcatlipoca, he no longer really has to remain in place as much. For example, if he gets hit on the side by some magic unit or some all-range unit, he can still attack them for that bonus damage. In addition, that taunt advantage, to that taunt advantage, the equipping unit also receives taunt when they're hit, which actually just does not synergize at all with the other one, just consider it as a completely separate effect. And I
think it actually does synergize with Festival Tezcatlipoca still, because I think it does have on being hit effects like darkness and stuff like that.
Oh, does he?
He has tenacity and inflict darkness to the enemy, I think.
Okay, I guess that's pretty useful. Although what I actually meant was it does not synergize at all with the taunt advantage. So even though they both use taunt, they're not actually related to each other as a function. But if all the better for Festival Tezcatlipoca, I suppose. A unit that I don't have, and I wasn't really aiming for anyways.
I mean, his rates aren't really good enough to rely on. It's fucking 50% and 40%. So
okay,
yeah, don't do that.
Well,
it's a snipe unit for a reason.
Right. A lot of people use them for some reason, probably just for the weakness or something, and they don't have a better sniper or shot unit. But
I'm actually having pretty good luck using him on the Berserkers Warmongers Day weekly.
Apparently,
delete his column.
I hate it because he always misses the 90% weakness.
Why not just use the Wiseman error with like your support unit in the back? It'd probably be your Trauma, right?
Because I'm already using it with other people. The other units can't one-shot their columns.
Oh well, I have Andy, so I do not have this problem.
I don't.
I actually just use restart Tezcatlipoca. He's actually quite strong when there's a weakness from that AR, as well as attack up when he's buffed. I completely forgot he had that, and he's Infernal type, so that works out quite well for most enemies, anyways. But that aside, the other effect of applying taunt to self is more useful for Hombre Tigre, specifically his Virtual Summer Memory variant. He actually receives a unique buff, or he has a unique conditional buff called Taunt Strengthening, which increases his activation rate by 30%, I believe, for a number, pretty much all of his abilities, and his most important one being Guts. So the thing is, he has guaranteed rate of self-bestowing taunt, or near guaranteed rate. I forget which one it was, which is fine, but it's only 2 turns. It's quite a short buff. So he kind of loses functionality afterwards, unless he actually got his charge up. That's another way he can refresh his taunt. So those are the usual ways to refresh his taunt. But otherwise, he's kind of like much less functional outside of those turns. So this is another way you can upkeep taunt and keep his taunt strengthening up. And as a side note, you may, if you're bringing Hombre Tigre, you may also want to consider using like a Tangaroa Itzamna setup so that you can have permanent taunt constantly being spread. So that could be helpful because this AR can be equipped on what's called Count on Tangaroa as a shot unit, and he can then spread that taunt to all his other allies. And as a side note, Hombre Tigre's side, that's actually a good way to completely disrupt taunt-based mechanics where the enemy inflicts taunt on you to trigger some sort of aggro mechanic by just giving it to everyone equally. Those are all my thoughts on this AR. You guys?
I didn't really have that many thoughts on this AR, to be honest.
It's kind of a shitty AR.
It's very narrow, I would say, in use. Just like the Alp ARs, which, you know, gives him that extra CP to get his turn 1 charge and all that. But yeah. Alright,
Can I complain about the art?
Yes, you may.
I don't like Hombre Tigre's lips, the way they're rendered.
Fucking dog lips.
It's like, this picture, the AR would actually greatly appeal to me, but the lips are so off-putting that it kind of made it take a nosedive, and I really don't like it.
Yeah, looks like he's wearing some kind of lipstick, and also the 3D rendering itself, his skin. I mean, he shouldn't even have skin; it's fur, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know what's up with his body. There's something weird looking about it, but
it looks like if you ever played the Mini Mario series, it looks like the CG art from that game. Just like oddly.
I did. They kind of looked weird.
Yeah, right. Just missing too many like layers of shading or whatever. Yes, Jabber Dog Lips. Anyways, we're done talking about this AR, so I'm just going to go read out the one comment. I would want Jacob's 5 as well. Well, that was for the previous one. Sorry, I stole that from you, Ruby. And yes, dog lips. So the black kind of lips things. I don't know how to describe it, but it's weird when you see it in like art, but it is technically accurate for some breeds, I suppose. That's not really here nor there though, so let's just move on. All right. Zalgus, the Battles of Gehenna. Go ahead.
Gay?
Yes.
Yes, a very easy joke. Right, so Battles of Gehenna. For some reason, this is the only AR that has a translated English title already. It's like... Is this like one of the only things that has been translated on release besides anniversary stuff?
I think there were a few other ones that were just randomly translated, like The Wise Men of the East, for example. But I don't know. Doesn't really matter too much.
It stands out so much. It's kind of weird. Anyway, so this AR, it gives a 1.2 times multiplier for every damage over time debuff that the enemy has. Now, the problem with this is that the multiplier is laughably low. It's a 1.2 times multiplier is... to put it into perspective, you would need 4 debuffs to get a 2 times multiplier, so that's already not very good.
It's better than anger, I guess.
1.2, yes, I guess. So that thing people don't use, but as an example, there was a unit who also took advantage of debuffs, which was what's his face? It was Beach Volos. He had a 1.5 multiplier for every single debuff in the game. So that was a higher debuff, or that was a higher multiplier, and it applied to more debuffs. It still wasn't very good. It was too... The multiplier was too low, and at that point you're better off just stacking damage buffs, which is the same case here. Why would you want to match a 2.5 multiplier? You would need 5 debuffs, which is very difficult to do, except with 1 unit. So at that point, you may as well just stack damage buffs instead, because you know 1 damage buff like Vigor will basically almost match 5 debuffs. So that sucks. All right, I didn't mention the other thing, which was you apply fatal poison to enemies who hit you, which is okay, I guess. So fatal poison isn't too common. There's only like 4 units who inflict it, but
yeah.
The more interesting part is supposed to be the debuff advantage, but
I would think the fatal poison would just be more useful in those conditional cases, like with Summer Shenong.
Yeah, so for units who actually synergize with it, there are only a few units who inflict 2 debuffs that are applicable to this. Beach Chernobog, Necros and Barkus, although one of them is Countdown. Zavania 5, but he has to CS to burn, and Balor, and one of them is also Countdown. Beach Chernobog inflicts burn and freeze on hit at 8%, so he's snipe range, so he's one of the best partners for this. He can't equip the AR himself, which is fine, I guess. His personal attack isn't amazingly high unless he CSs, but Beach Chernobog is one of the most practical partners. The other best fit for it is Virtual Summon Memory Shenong, who inflicts the stackable Fatal Poison. He inflicts 5 stacks of the unique Fatal Poison plus Poison, so for 6 stacks, which is a 2.7 multiplier. But he would have to CS for that, and at that point the enemy would probably be dead. Or he has to hit them 5 times in a row, which, again, they would probably already be dead. So, all in all, I think it's a interesting AR in that it, tries to take advantage of debuffs, like specific debuffs. Like, I personally thought the Beat Volos was also interesting. Like, I made a team based around him once, but the problem is it's really just not practical enough in actual practice. You'd really just be better off stacking damage buffs as usual. It's easier and it's more effective. You don't get limited to a very small range of characters, because if you're trying to stack with this, there's really only a few choices you can use.
Yeah, sucks, I think they made it so weak like this just to future-proof it in case they decide to do more stackables. Because clearly, like, for cases like, with Stigma or Freeze or like Countdown, the improved damage multiplier doesn't do anything. I feel like it was such a low multiplier in the first place just because they knew like stackables existed. So in the case of if stackables become more common, this AR will become a bit stronger, I guess. Right now, it's just not there.
I think this AR is very useless.
Thank you, Orby. Is that
Yeah.
it? You just said that. That's it.
That's it. That is all I have to say. They aren't going to make more stackables because, face it, we're not going to have stackable Stigma or Freeze or Countdown. The stackable.
What if they release Fafnir? Oh yeah, by the way, that stackable for people who don't know, that stackable burn is basically irrelevant. It is a holdover from a challenge quest from the FKRA.
See the thing
where one of the bosses inflicted a stackable burn effect, and we do not have access to them, and I doubt we'll actually be getting them. If we did somehow get the stackable burn, and you could combo it with Fatal Poison and Stack and Burn Stack, then yes, you could actually get quite a significant multiplier of like times. At 10 stacks, you get 5.2. So
if we did get stackable burn, Cthulhu would be hitting ridiculously hard on his CS.
Yeah,
because he has 3 times per each stack.
Oh yeah, he can equip this. Oh wait, do you mean vanilla Cthulhu or
no? The vanilla one has like 3 times multiplier for each burn stack or something like that.
Oh, okay, so.
Oh yeah, but yeah, that just goes to show you like they're future-proofing it, because otherwise, if they really didn't have any intention, they could have just never included these stacks of burn and just left it to die with Fafnir. But instead they're here because they're always like, what if one day we decide to implement it?
I don't see why they have to kneecap these effects like this when, like I said, damage buffing is already way more effective.
Yeah, and not even that difficult to set up. Like, fucking, even if we had units that could stack them, we would have to wait like 5 turns to do it. Whereas nowadays you can just stack like 7 different buffs, attack scaling buffs on turn 1, which is like, there's no comparison here.
Yes, they keep adding these new effects, but for some reason kneecapping them when we already have much more broken stuff with simpler methods of application. So I just don't see why. It's like 1.2, really, you couldn't do like 1.5 at least. It's like, come on.
I think 1.4 would be good enough, to be honest, but
yeah, they seem to be conditionally scaling the multipliers and the rates based on how common they think these effects are. Like, if you noticed with the curse immunity AR,
common at all.
they actually like
they really are not common.
They are very uncommon.
I don't know. Future proofing. That's my only reason for this.
Poison and Fatal Poison, there's only like 6 units in total who actually inflict it, and then I was like,
Freeze, there's only like 4 or 5 or something like that.
Yeah, Stigma is also not that common. There's like maybe a few more units than that.
Yes, Stigma is probably the more common one out of those ones.
Yeah, Stigma's one of the most common ones because of the missionaries. And Countdown it's becoming more common, but it's also probably the least useful one in this lot because it lasts the least amount of time, and you're probably going to already kill them anyway.
Yeah, so, if you're using Countdown at that point, you're probably using it for the flat damage, not for the scaling damage.
Burn is kind of common, I guess, but it's just 1 stack. It's like, it doesn't need to be that low for such a rare effect. Like, Volos was 1.5 because he had every debuff in the game. Like, and then they make this, which is like not even half the debuffs in the game, and they made it worse than half of that effect.
Yeah,
it could have been interesting, but okay. I think it's interesting, but it's not useful.
As already said, it sucks. I think we just leave it at that. Who knows? Maybe one day we'll have a lot more units that can apply every stack at the same time. Like Shanang does on charge, but I doubt it.
Yeah.
Didn't he like apply only 1 every turn? So even
yeah, it was like globally.
Let's get Fafnir, so we can get 1 stack of burn every turn. Let's go.
Okay, Zalgas, please treat that comment so we can leave this in the ditch that it should belong in.
Anger is a status effect. Remind me again if relationships count as buffs, because I believe they didn't.
I mean, it is a status, but it's not a buff that interacts normally like the way others do. It doesn't trigger after buff effects, and it can't be removed. But it's it's there as a status still. Just
it gives 1.1 times multiplier, so even worse than this. Think about that. What about Nightglow's Cthulhu for his conflagration spread? Conflagration isn't on this list, so he wouldn't really benefit from this. I mean, I guess he can benefit from the burn, but I don't know if he really cares about the 1.2 times damage that much. I don't remember the rest of his kit besides pushing everyone away. This AR isn't useless. Lucifuge came back to life with this AR.
True enough,
yes,
true.
I actually think he looks pretty good here. Like, I like this better than his star pudding art.
Star pudding art? What was this? Oh, you mean his regular art? Yeah. Star pudding.
Yeah, isn't that his artist?
That's kind of wild, though. Isn't that like something the same one that drew Jambavan and Alice?
Yeah, I think so.
Like, those ones are good, and then Lucifuge is just Lucifuge.
I mean, I think it's because his design is just designed to look kind of ugly, or like comically so.
I mean, just kind of ugly, and then there's like illustration-wise, he looks a bit out of proportion in some locations. So it's just it's a bit confusing in terms of how. Like,
are we really going to talk about bad proportions in this game?
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
But it is more like
it's not even just Gen 1. It's not even just Gen 1, even the latest ones. We've been getting a lot of units that are just like huge with tiny heads.
Yeah.
Do you guys actually remember how Lucifuge beta art looks?
No, but I remember it looked worse.
Like significantly worse. It was like fan art drawn by a kid or something. It was like significantly different enough to even what's called go toe to toe with a beta Fenrir, if you remember that.
Yeah, it kind of looks a lot uglier. It's like way worse.
I can't believe we talked this long about Lucifuge being ugly. I'm sorry, Lucifuge. Like, please keep it.
How dare you!
I mean, I think he looks fine here.
Yeah, he looks pretty okay here.
I gotta take my cat to the vet, so I'll be missing the ass AR. Sad face. But oh well. See you later, Duckling Crane. You can catch the VOD later. Would even be called a VOD here. It's not Twitch. Huge with tiny heads. Remembers the broad shoulders memes of manga. God, proportions.
I just realized he kind of looks like a what's it called Edgeworth here. Anyways, moving on. Yes, the ass AR, which unfortunately Duckling will miss.
Edgeworth is right next to him.
Oh, right. Alright, we got to move? Yes, no, maybe
sure.
So. Alright. Irby, if you want, take it away.
And finally, the SAR, the Arsalan and Avarga AR. This AR is pretty neat because it brings a particular niche to other units. It is no longer exclusive to like Kajikarao or Eita's variant, which is the ability to be able to pierce all of the common defense buffs. I say all of the common defense buffs because poison reversal and other stuff like that. They aren't common defense buffs. They're probably just stuff that was meant to be like a passive effect, but they didn't have the technology at the time probably to make those 999 turn.
They don't have like a way to do, or at least it seems like they're too lazy to implement something like conditional cancellation. So that's the thing. I can see why they didn't want to add in poison reversal here.
But yeah, so it basically allows every thrust or blow unit or units of the art, which are both blow and thrusts in across all their rarities, to pierce all of these defense buffs, which is honestly pretty neat. We no longer have to be restricted to 2 units to be able to pierce all of these effects for challenge quests. Sometimes there are a few challenge quests where they make units have like 3 defense buffs at a time, and it actually does have it quite frequently. I wouldn't say every event, but like every 2 or 3 events, there's always a challenge quest.
Yeah, there was like a
unit wins a bunch of defense buffs in some way.
Can you list a few examples?
I don't know. I remember the Christmas one with Itzamna, the Itzamna Christmas one.
Oh yeah, that one.
He just bestowed a lot of debuffs. I remember the Setsuban one that came out on the rerun, and the new one that came as well with it, because they released new challenge quests for the reprints as well.
Okay, you have a point. So it's like maybe
it does happen semi-frequently.
Yeah, like once every 1 or 2 events, something like that.
Something like that, yes. Unfortunately, we haven't had a lot of events recently, so there aren't a lot of good examples that are recent. The last event we got was like Night Glows, which was like almost 5 months away or 4 months away.
Was it that far ago? What the fuck?
It was 3 months away. Never mind. Still, it was pretty long ago.
The longest Chapter 12 campaign ever.
But yeah, it also has an additional effect, which is honestly kind of useless. It's only a 30% chance to apply break after moving, and this break obviously is going to be level 1 because unless you have the duplicates to make it a full-blown buff to increase the damage dealt on those units in thrust range. Even if you max it, it's still only 60%, so not the most reliable effects to have, especially on move. The most interesting thing though is that even though we were restricted to using thrust units for these kinds of piercing effects, we can kind of circumvent this by using units with weapon change that can equip this AR. For instance, Hephaestus 5 can equip this AR.
Shut up with Hephaestus.
and does have him. Yeah, of course it is. And he can also apply a bunch of effects that increase his own damage. So this is actually pretty neat for him. If you need the extra range, if you also want to use it on Jiangxi text rocks, it also works for the same effect. It's also a heavy damage dealer that can change to magic range on move. Other units that, if you want to do an all-range pierce, even though it's probably not going to deal a lot of damage, you can also equip this on Echo or Alp as well.
Does Echo not already pierce evasion? I thought she did.
She does.
She removes her own.
She removes her own evasion. Yes, she can't be affected by evasion.
I remember that, but does she not penetrate evasion? Or am I imagining things?
I think she does penetrate evasion.
Okay,
but also she doesn't penetrate the rest. So.
Oh right. True.
So it can
double penetration on evasion.
If only LifeWonders made an entire fix dedicated to making sure you can do 2 evasion penetration buffs.
Oh, one thing I didn't mention.
She does pierce evasion, yes.
Oh, cool.
One thing I didn't mention is that I didn't test this, but you can equip this on Soul 3-star.
Oh my god.
Which he does have a unique status effect that allows him to nullify the effects of defense up and protection. So maybe.
Oh my god, Irby.
maybe he gets an attack boost if you equip this on him. But only on his 3-star. I would love to test this because it sounds really neat, because this would mean that on top of piercing these effects, he would also deal increased damage by a very significant multiplier. So I think it would be really funny if it did work. I think it almost 100% would work, because considering the virtual summer memory tests we made with that in that challenge quest. So yeah, that is also something that you can try to meme with. But other than these, if you don't need the extra range, you can also equip on almost all thrust units, because almost all thrust units.
You mean all thrust units?
Heavy hitters.
Oh, you mean you should? I see. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you should use this on all thrust units.
Yeah, all in all, I think. Yeah, I agree. I think this AR is actually pretty good with short range units, because the one thing short range units have going on for them besides the compensating kit is hitting really hard, and this thing just really makes sure the unit hits hard.
Yeah, I wouldn't say all blow units, because most blow units.
Echo.
Stop.
I wasn't talking about her. I already talked about her and Jiangxi Tetsuox, but I wouldn't say most blow units because most blow units are actually more support oriented than damage dealers. So yeah, there's that.
I guess.
All thrust units, or almost all thrust units, are damage dealers. So use it on them instead.
Yeah, I agree. Just the general concept of equipping on damage dealers. In particular, I would say actually both of the names, both of the faces here featured would be good for this AR, especially Avarga, because he already is immune to every single debuff that reduces his damage output or status in general. So that actually synergizes with him quite well, and in a way, this just makes him almost unstoppable in terms of being able to give the full entirety of his damage. If that's ever essential to you for some reason, having consistently high damage in situations where they're preventing you from doing consistently high damage. I would also recommend it for Arsalan if you are planning to play with his charge, because again, he still inflicts or bestows unction to the enemy when he charges, which with his Evo, he compensated a bit for it with, him having advantage against unction, but it still doesn't even penetrate it fully. So this will help fully penetrate it, along with getting that bonus unction advantage. And I guess you can use unction weakening too on top of that.
We did not talk about unction weakening.
I used it for one challenge quest. I can talk about it however much I want.
Honestly, I'm more interested in if and when Avarga gets his variant, how well this will work on him, because this is a fairly powerful effect, so hopefully Avarga's variant will be actually useful, unlike Arsalan.
I kind of hope it is, because I have him partly seeded.
Join us, Zalgus, in the Avarga seeding club.
No, I'm working on Andy, sorry.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I think that's all our thoughts for this, is that right?
We didn't even talk about the arse.
I mean, I think the ass is self-explanatory.
I kind of want to shove my face in it and eat it up.
But still wearing Crocs.
Who cares about the Crocs? Why are you looking at the Crocs and not at the ass, Salgas? Do you have something to say?
I hate Crocs. Nice ass, though.
It's so well chiseled, I can't take my eyes off it. They should have just made that the icon instead of his face.
You think?
I like his face. I like the ass too.
Yeah, that's hard to choose between, but the ass though.
You know how someone made a custom icon once for thing? You think they could also change the AR icon to that? No, because the guy's face was already in those files.
Yeah,
I don't think you'd be able to do that.
If only, man. Everyone just would be selecting bulge up shots, but this one is especially features. Yeah. Okay. If that's it, then go ahead and read out the comments, Irby.
Best AR of the batch.
For sure. Too bad I don't have it.
Same. I got every AR but this one. Never mind. I didn't miss it. Oh, good. The reason Avarga became someone's favorite character. Well,
for your teacher bias, Irby.
It's not teacher bias, but yeah, I already seeded him before the ass. Okay. But only HP and attack though.
Okay.
Hephaestus is base though. Penetration. Yeah, that's penetration, all right.
Yeah, how alluring. He's practically inviting there. Anyway, yeah, that's just finished, I guess. Final thoughts on this agonizingly long period of Chapter 12 still going on?
There's still 1 week left, unfortunately.
I need more money.
Have you not been grinding on Berserker Day?
No, I grinded quite a lot last Berserker's Day. I did like maybe 50.
Holy shit.
Missions.
I didn't grind anything.
It gives so much, it's like over 500,000 every run. That's crazy.
There's still another Berserker's Day before it ends.
Yeah, and I'm still low on money because I threw all my seeds at 15 seeding Andy. So
hey, join
I
I currently have like no money on my emulator because my emulator skill sells everyone.
I've already like used all my seeds, like literally all my seeds of every kind, and I'm still grinding for some reason. I'm over 200 million, so it's feeling like I know just like being well prepared, but at this point I'm feeling like maybe I'm getting this much time for no reason.
I have 120 million only, but I have no seeds to spend it on, and I think it's enough to fully finish seeding Krasnik and Sol, so I kind of am in no rush to seed, to farm money to seed. Anyways,
yeah.
I still have plenty of seeds to use, but no money, and also I don't really have anyone I want to seed. So.
Oh yeah, I need to seed Sandayu too as well. Disgusting.
You don't like him?
No, it's just that LifeWonders decided to add another Mancer, and I have such a huge list of units to seed.
I mean, I was planning on seeding them too, but then I leveled all my units, and I was like, oh, I never need to do Munter runs. Oh well.
I've been planning on seeding Sol since last year.
Have you not fully seeded them yet?
No, because I skipped to Krasnik.
Can't believe you've done this.
and I haven't even finished Krasnik yet either. So because there are no seeds. Where are the seeds?
And now Sandayu's coming into the fray. I can see what's happening. LifeWonders, give us some more seeds. This is ridiculous.
Where are the seeds?
Watch it. Sometime same time next year, we're going to be complaining about having too much seeds and not enough coin. And so the cycle continues.
That would require them to release events, which they haven't been doing.
Who knows? Maybe they'll release another non-event where they release seeds instead.
There's only 4 months left.
Okay, yeah, I remember.
We had 2 events.
Like Irby mentioned, like around last month, that there was an abnormally low period of events. I was like, I'm sure it'll average out, but it's a month later and there's still no event. So I'm kind of agreeing with them now. Okay, anyways, enough complaining. That concludes our stream. I don't want to grind. Same as but we both gotta. You can never have too much money. I don't know that. Maybe you can. But yeah, thank you for joining us. You can find Zalgis's videos linked in the description, as well as Irby's. But there's no content, so there's probably no content for them either. That's new.
I mean, I could make videos on the refrain or the clashes, but
I did them, and I'm still like wondering if I should have.
I still haven't even done the refrain quest the first time, so I don't know how bad they really are.
At least you have content to somewhat look forward to. Me and Irby are just waiting until the end.
I'm not even doing them.
Okay, I'm not gonna prolong this any longer. Thanks for joining us. We're gonna go head out now. We'll talk to you guys later in the next event. All right, on 3, everyone. 1, 2, 3. Bye. Bye.